Hey there, Jim here with Alvarenga Tours. How's everyone doing? Thank you again for tuning in to our channel. We're actually here today with a good friend, Julio. Hey, Julio, how are you?
Very good, Jim. Thank you.
Julio, as you know, we are always trying to expose you. A lot of people have been DMing us about if I do move to El Salvador, can I make a living? Can I live? Can I survive? Can I find employment? Julio is a perfect example of actually that specific question. Julio was born in El Salvador, left at a very young age, went to the United States, came back as a grown man, and now established. He's established in El Salvador, living the Salvadorian dream. So he left to live the American dream, and he came back to Central America, El Salvador, to live the Salvadorian dream. So Julio, if you can talk briefly about that, your experience coming back as a grown man,
Okay.
and how it's been adapting
Yeah,
and working.
definitely. So yeah, it's been a journey. I came back 8 years ago, and when I first came back, the country was still not in good stages, right? But I was here. Even then, even when it wasn't in a good place, I was able to quickly establish, connections. Like if you're coming from the U.S., Spain, Canada, whatever, you're gonna have connections over there, right? In 2017, the country was still not established, but I was able to start a small business on my own here with connections from the U.S., a little call center. Properties were still very low here. Not that they're high now, but things are going up. But it's still very, very capable to make a living here. As long as you come with an entrepreneur spirit. The country is very liberal, and the country is very liberal in the area, and the way that the culture is very hardworking. I mean, it's a culture that is known for hardworking and entrepreneurs. You'll see kids on the street. You'll see people selling bread. You'll see, just as soon as you walk into the centers, into these little towns, you'll see everybody, selling stuff. But it's all done with good intention and good heart of trying to make that daily bread for themselves. Now with us who are coming from the US, who have more skills, a different perspective, we have connections over there. We have the dual language as well. Opportunities will happen. For me, the way it happened was that again, I saw that the call center. This is like the mecca of the call centers in Central America. If you go downtown, and I saw that, and I went and tried to apply at one of the call centers, and obviously I saw what they paid, and I was like, some of these accounts are from the U.S. Like these are accounts, AT&T business accounts for like customer service and stuff like that. So I put two and two together, and I started meeting some people that had, they would call them little underground call centers. They weren't illegal, but you can have an office and have legal accounts, and eventually I opened a call center. I had about three accounts on customer service and sales, and we did very good. And that was just all based on my own thinking out of the box and seeing, okay, where can I, put my knowledge and skills together and do something. Eventually, the pandemic came and we lost that. And I had an idea of opening maybe an English school. English schools here at that time and even now are a big thing. But eventually I moved to Costa Rica based on, family decisions. And I was there teaching for 4 years. And then I just came back to El Salvador now because the country has completely changed. I had heard about it. Like I'm sure many of you guys are hearing about it now, but it's not like being here. I still had my indecisions about coming back, but Costa Rica was not a place where I can see myself building roots and investing in, because at the end of the day, I wasn't over there. I was over there on a work permit, so I wasn't going to be able to establish any credit and stuff like that. So anyhow, I came back with the faith that El Salvador really has changed, and now being here a year and some change and some months later, I mean, I'm just completely at awe and in love with what the country is. I'm doing basically the same thing. I have a virtual call center with people that businesses that I know from the U.S., and we give them the service of connecting them with virtual assistants with customer service or sales, whatever the company may need. So that's what I'm doing now. I work from home. This is what my work my work clothes looks like. And not only that, but I mean, just yeah, the country now has a vibe that's just very, very, very safe, very liberal, very just kick back. You know what I mean? And I live by a beach here, but there's so much more to see. Like I live by what's this beach called again? The beach we live by here, it's El Pimental, but there's like just around half an hour from here or 45 minutes from here, you can go to basically all the beaches in the country. Just the fact that the country now is so safe and it's a small country uh, gives us a lot of freedom to just feel like you're basically, like I was saying, like you're basically not uh, working and stressful, but you're working and moving up in life and putting some things together, but you're also very on vacation, kind of
At the
feels
same
like.
time,
Yeah, at the
right?
same time.
Right. That's so
That's
awesome.
that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to me, basically.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
One of the things that Julio actually something went off in my mind real quick was building roots. Right. He says that he came back and now he feels that he's building roots and growing, expanding, and be open minded, and bring that spirit of growing and wanting to do something right for yourself and obviously for the country. And El Salvador, it's giving us that opportunity right now, allowing us to do that. Just
Yeah.
that. Julio, if someone, and not necessarily someone who is from El Salvador, who wants or thinks about coming back, but anyone who would like to travel
Yeah.
and do something different, either that might be Europe, Canada, or anywhere else in the world, what's your word of advice for them to come to El Salvador and try it out, to do some research? What's because of your experience, because of what you went through, because of
Yeah.
what you've known so far, and obviously you're progressing, you're doing well. What would be an advice for those?
Yeah, my best advice. I mean, I have friends who are in the U.S. I actually have a nephew who was living with me in Costa Rica, and he's over there teaching now. And he came to visit, and he saw what a difference it is based on what he had heard about El Salvador. And that's the same thing. I have siblings in the U.S. I have family in the U.S. But some have visited, but not during this time that we're living. So um, my best advice, because even me coming back from Costa Rica, after living in El Salvador for a year and a half, then going to Costa Rica, and then wanting to actually establish something and build some roots somewhere, I came back with the intention to just give it a try, and now I wouldn't leave. I mean, I would just say, come, visit, give it a try. Look, do some research online. But I mean, online, all you're going to see is good things about El
Right.
Salvador. But it's
Right.
not like being here. And then if you have the idea of maybe coming to, build something here, a life here, with the skills that we have from, wherever the country is, and the connections that we have, you'll be able to build a life here, as far as financially. But you don't really have to worry about, I don't know, like I have family in the US, and like I was telling you, like they live very stressful lives. They live very stressful day-to-day life because of the high bills, the high rents, the mortgages, and all that. And here, if you can come, especially if you're retired, I have a friend who's retired, and he's living off his pension here. And I mean, he lives like a king. But he's got a little ranch here in Pimental. He's got a ranch. He has his family visit. He goes back and forth, kind of like you, but he's already retired. That's why I asked you, when are you going to retire?
Right,
Because
right.
I see him, and that's what I want, right? But he's just so happy, and he's 74 years old, but he lives like he's in his 20s.
Wow.
Yeah, with the freedom that he's got living here.
Wow. Excellent. There you go. I mean, there is a way of living freely in El Salvador, safe, secure, and obviously making a living and building roots. I think it's one of the things that popped in my mind when you were saying that, is the fact that you're able to do that here in El Salvador and expand. You can also expand from here and do other things, right? Virtually
Yeah.
nowadays is the opportunity
Yeah.
that El Salvador is doing. Uh, if you can briefly talk about that, Julio,
Yeah.
finding employment virtually. Do we pay taxes if you work here online?
Yeah. So the biggest the thing with working virtually, and I've actually spoke to some. I have friends who are just kind of, I don't want to say they're sort of closed minded in just working for a company here. You could work for a company here. I mean, Google's here now. If you're if you're in the tech world, there's definitely opportunities there. There's other opportunities, but for me, from my perspective, with the skills that we can bring, just with simply knowing English, it's already like a huge skill. But if you go online and look up, on LinkedIn, and you can look up teaching jobs online, you can look up virtual assistant jobs online, sales jobs online. There's so many people hiring independent contractors in all these companies all over the U.S., all over Canada. The opportunities are endless now, because especially after the pandemic, it kind of switched everything.
Right.
I constantly have, people asking for my resume in LinkedIn,
Wow.
for companies in the U.S., for whatever it is, because I work in sales, so it could be a real estate company, it could be a software company. Right now, I'm working for two companies virtually, and I'm working for one company, but I'm running the company, and I have different accounts, kind of like a call center virtually. That's what I was kind of telling them. And I mean, like, I enjoy it. It's just so free being able to work from home and live in El Salvador, because it's like a dual thing. Like, I feel like I'm on vacation, but I'm also working at the same
At the same
time.
time, right?
And it's just, yeah,
It doesn't feel like work.
it doesn't feel like work. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
Wow. Excellent. Listen, we're not gonna here and force you to come to El Salvador. We don't want to force you to come to El Salvador, but I think we do want to tell you that give it a shot, give it a try. I think one of the things that Julio is a perfect example. Is a living example of what can take place in El Salvador. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier, behind the scenes, is actually the fact that a lot of people are trying to come, and they might be not feeling comfortable because can I find employment, right? And he's a
Yeah.
living example of that. Is it possible to make it? He's a living example of that. Is rent cheap? Is food cheap? And so forth and so on. All these questions take, obviously something that we have to
Yeah.
plan. And as a family man, as a grown man now that you left the country when you were a
Yeah.
child, what do you think? Where do you see the country going? Where do you see us moving forward?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely when you say, is the food cheap? Is the employment? Are you going to be able to find employment? Things are, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but with security, that's the main thing
Right.
that we were focused on, and now we've kind of passed that part where we all feel secure. Now it's going into like the schools. I don't know if you guys know, but like there's a lot of new schools are being built in different areas. There's this whole movement on the schools, and then the tourism, of course. So with that, prices are going up, but then at the same time, yeah, if you come from another country, like you're coming, I don't want to call this country a third world country, but in a sense it is. If you're coming from the US, or you're coming from Canada, or you're coming from Spain, so you're coming with like a whole different perspective to a country that's very liberal and free, especially to people from other countries are coming in. They're allowing us to, like, hey, just do what you want, not do what you want to do, but like do what ideas you have to create a business, create a school. Like, I have an idea for a school. That's one idea, or one vision that I have, is creating a school for kids that are not. I have some kids that I mentor that are not going to school, and they're the ones that you see working in the beach with their mothers selling stuff. And I have some that I mentor right here in the area, and I would love to start like a school or like a YMCA kind of thing, where they come and they learn programming in English, and just with that, that would be something that would help them get confident. Because I have a 12-year-old that I mentioned. Oh, Miguelito, I think your wife met Miguel. Unfortunately, he's the main source of their income in their family, because their mother doesn't work. Their grandma, it's just him and his grandma, but he doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to write. But that's just the way of life for them. He's a happy, healthy, good kid. but there's more Miguelitos in the area. And I would think like if somebody would want to come and rent a little home like this and just, you wouldn't invest much in some computers and some English, everything's free now. And that would be something that if you have a passion for teaching, if you have a passion, whatever your passion is, you can come to El Salvador and start it and not have to invest so much money to do it. You go to the US or you go somewhere else, I mean, you're going to have to get permits, you're going to have to get this and that. And so if you wanted to come to El Salvador and start a nonprofit, for example, or something like that, you can easily do it here very, very, very liberal, and the country will have your back. I mean, you're putting back into, especially if you're from El Salvador, you would feel proud about coming back and doing that after the way the country was for so
Wow.
many years. Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, if you were looking for a sign, if you were actually calling out there for a sign, here's your sign to come to El Salvador and give back to the community. And even if you're not Salvadorian, right?
Yeah.
If you have the means and you want to try and help those Miguelitos out there, like Julio was mentioning, why not? This is the right time, the right place to do it. So, Julio, thank you so much. By the way, we're having a great coffee. We're not gonna spill out the brand of the coffee, but it's Julio's coffee. So it's the best coffee ever. So if you do wanna have coffee with Julio and myself, DM us. We'll reach out.
If you guys have any questions, DM me. I'm willing to help in whatever way to support you guys.
Thank you, Julio. And here once again, thank you, and we'll see you guys soon. Hope you come to El Salvador.
Thank you. Have a good one.